Okay, so I got a friend of mine that was very generous and had this auger that he said it just quit on him in the middle of a job, and he ended up having to go get another auger. So I got a project going, and he said, "Hey, if you want to take this and fix it up, and you're more than welcome to use it." So what it is, it's an earthquake. Get this up where we can see it. It's an earthquake 43cc powered by Viper engine. It's the only thing I know about this, and I know that it doesn't work. So it's got good compression. So this grommet that goes into the fuel tank, there's no fuel lines. So rotate that around. I don't know if we can see in there real good. I did see that ahead of time, and I went ahead and bought a little repair kit for it. So I've already got that, and I'll get this out. I'm going to go ahead and take the cover off. Okay, so I've got my latex gloves on. Gasoline has benzene in it, but everybody has to do their own thing, and gasoline absorbs into your skin, and it is an awful smell that you have to deal with for the whole day. So 2 Phillips heads, and the carburetor is off, and there's our 2 fuel lines right here. I've got a smaller screwdriver. I'm going to pry this off, hopefully, or just break it off. Ethanol will eat this fuel line, and if you talk to any small engine shop, they'll tell you that probably the number one cause is the fuel. A lot of the fuel lines, especially on older equipment, were not made to handle alcohol. Get both my screwdrivers, and careful not to damage that grommet. Right, here's the grommet, and it seals around the fuel lines. Whew, that's rough. The rubber grommet looks okay. I'm going to push these out, and this fuel line is just like, it's trashed. It's like little pieces. I don't know if you can see those, but it's just disintegrated to nothing. Okay, so got this cleaned out. There's no fuel in the fuel tank. It's all cleaned out. So I'll be able to put fresh 91 octane non-ethanol fuel in here with fuel stabilizer. I always use that. And actually I use this is 2-stroke, so I use the steel oil, which I prefer. It has a fuel stabilizer in it, and I've never had any issues. Even I just started up my weed eater that's been hanging on the wall for, I don't know, probably 4 or 5 months, and it just started right up, no problems. Use a good quality oil, and it'll save you a lot of trouble. So I bought a fuel kit, and this has a primer bulb. It has multiple different primer bulbs. It's got quite a bit of fuel line, and it's got a weighted fuel filter on it. So we'll see, that may work. And then I've got another kit that has a couple of fuel lines. There should be something in here broken off, is what I would think, but whoop, it's not completely empty. Okay, there comes something, and there comes a hose, 2 hoses, and a lot of nasty fuel. Look at that fuel line. I mean, it's like gummed up completely. Look at that. That's definitely ethanol. Here, gum. That's 100% fuel problem. I couldn't find fuel line, so I finally found some fuel line. I think it's going to work. It's a 1/8 inch fuel line. So hopefully that's going to fit on here. It's the next size above what I had before. So I'm going to go ahead, get the covers all taken off, and get ready to put this fuel line on. So let me get that taken care of and bring you back. Let's see if we can get our fuel lines in there, and hopefully they'll be the right size. Where did I put it? Oh. Okay, so okay, the 1/8 inch fuel line is going to work for both. That's going to be great. Alright, so I got my 1/8 inch fuel line, and this is rated for 10% ethanol. I'm going to feed it through the grommet, and then I'm going to put this fuel filter on here. It's a weighted fuel filter, so should always remain in the fuel. Either way, I think that would probably be sufficient right there. The original did not have a fuel filter on it, so that's not great. Okay, I'm going to get my mark, and I happen to have a PEX cutter. It works real good for tubing as well. Gives you a nice clean cut. So this is the secondary line, and there again they were just kind of together. So what I'm going to do is just make them the same length, and should be in good shape. And it just makes a nice cut, nice clean cut. Put the fuel filter one in first. Make sure I know which one it is. And I'm going to go ahead and place it on the primary port. But I'm trying to get that fuel line all the way on, so you don't have any leaks. And then I'm going to stick the return line on the same way. Alright. And line this up and put that back in place. So that's our little fuel service. What I'm going to do is go to get just a small amount of fuel and stick in here and see if I can prime the primer bulb. It sounds like it's got good suction. You can kind of hear it whistling. I'm going to go ahead and put the little 4 bolts back in, put the cover on, and let me just see what happens. I'm curious to know if it was just the fuel line that had an air leak in that fuel line, or is there something actually wrong with the carburetor. Alright, so let's get some good non-ethanol fuel with, I like to use the steel oil. It has a bit of stabilizer in there, and I have never had any issues with my fuel in my 2-cycle weed eaters or bushwhackers or chainsaws. I definitely recommend it. If you don't like steel, get a high quality oil. It will stabilize that fuel. If you're using ethanol, you can actually buy some marine grade fuel stabilizer. You probably do some research on that, and it actually kind of neutralizes the alcohol, is the way I understand it. Some parts of the country, they're subsidizing ethanol, so it's much cheaper to buy ethanol fuel. So here we can get the more expensive non-ethanol fuel. Okay, we've got our little gas oil mix here. Gonna give it a shake. Okay, so I can definitely see fuel. Okay, the primer bulb is full, and it's actually returning on the return line, so that's excellent. I'm just gonna prime it just kind of cycle some of that fresh fuel in there. If there's any, I don't know, trash in there, maybe it'll cycle back through. I'm not sure. And there's no fuel on my finger, so that means the primer bulb's good. A lot of times that primer bulb will get a small crack in it, and it'll suck air. Okay, so I've already primed it. I got the switch on, I believe, and it's in the run position right now. I'm going to go down to full choke, and let's see, I've got clearance here on my shaft, and I've got plenty of help. Full choke. And like I said, it's very simple. You know, just because you're having issues with your equipment, it is very simple a lot of times to fix. I probably got $20 in this repair. So it's not much to it, especially if you're just starting to have, you know, some issues, or it's really hard to start sometimes, or if you're seeing fuel leak around the fuel tank or around the carburetor here or the fuel lines, more than likely you have a crack in the fuel line, and just replacing the fuel line can fix a lot of the issues, and also running that good fuel and good oil. So thanks for watching, and hope you enjoy the video, and hopefully you'll stick around for more videos. I'll have more to come.